Good evening, Preeti Kumari. Good evening to all of you guys. So, I'm going to start the second part of the lecture Augustanism or the Neoclassical literature. Yesterday, Shivam Katha, good evening. We have finished or completed one lecture on this topic in which I have covered, as you know, basically the background of neoclassical, why it is called neoclassical, what is Augustanism, social background, major poet of the neoclassical era, Johnson's circle, and culture. These topics already covered in previous lecture. Today I'll cover the rise of the novel, that how novel was developed in 18th century by the author, by novelist of 18th century. Literature study by Satish. Subscribe, like, and share who not joined the channel till. Major novelist of the Augustan age, Jonathan Swift. He is an Irish author, clergyman, and satirist. He wrote A Tale of Tav is a prose satire which was published in 1704. It is written in allegorical style. The Battle of Books was first published in 1704. His second book, The Battle of Books, actually, Anjali Chauhan, good evening. Tanu, good evening. In novel writing, the authors who were basically trying to write novels, they first started the Picaresque novel, and before the 18th century, Elizabethan era, the Travels of John Mandeville also was published, and other novels. They were the precursors of the novel. In 18th century, there was basically essays writing as well as the periodicals writing. So these authors tried to write picaresque novel which gave a new direction to literature in novel form. Sweta Sharma, good evening. The Battle of Books was first published in 1704. Gulliver Travels, also it is known as children's novel or book. It is social and political satire. So, the Jonathan Swift is major author of Augustan Age. Modest Proposal, published in 1729, in this he criticized English landlord, the system which was mainly happening or running in Elizabethan era. Later, it is uh, come or till 18th century. Daniel Defoe, the second major author, and the rise of the novel. He is writer and journalist. Actually, a unit or a part in unit first restoration to 1798 एम ए इंग्लिश सिलेबस सेकेंड सेमेस्टर में है. उसमें यह है कि राइज ऑफ द नोवेल कैसे बिगिनिंग हुई, कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ है. मेघा नैन गुड इवनिंग. सो दोज स्टूडेंट हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर द restoration to 1798 paper, they should know that which authors was basically at the time when Daniel Defoe was writing. So Daniel Defoe, he is writer and journalist. He wrote Robinson Crusoe, which published in 1798, based on the true story of a shipwrecked seaman named Alexander. Its full title is The Life and Strange Surprising Adventures of Robinson Crusoe. In 18th century, when the novel was beginning, that time basically the authors were first tried to write either the story that they had experience, like ship experience, sea experience, or like fielding. They tried to write the picaresque novel. A picaresque novel, Parul Chauhan, good evening. Rampul, good evening. Khushi Gurjar, good evening. In which they basically tried to write a story of that person who is motiveless. Basically, picaresque meaning a person, a character, or a hero who is motiveless. The word picaro came from the Spanish word which means the rogue. एक ऐसा पर्सन जो रोड पे भटकता हो बिना किसी पर्पज के, जिसकी कोई लाइफ ऐसे फिक्स लाइफ नहीं होती है. Mole Flanders 1722, it is a picaresque novel. अभी मैंने explain किया that what is the meaning of picaresque. It is a story of a beautiful and greedy woman. The title of the full novel is next novel by him, Roxana, the Fortunate Mistress, which published in 1724, and the Colonel Jack, 1722. So, guys, you have to remember that Daniel Defoe wrote such important novels. He described his sea experience as well as he wrote picaresque novel. Next author is Samuel Richardson. He wrote Pamela or Virtue Reward and Clarissa. These two important novels written by Samuel Richardson. Then Hina Pawar, Good Evening. Next, Laurence Stern. The Laurence Stern is very important author of Augustan era or Neoclassical novelist writing because he wrote a book, Tristram Shandy, which is considered mainly the psychological book, the first psychological book, or the first book which can be called, or many authors, many critics called as a stream of consciousness technique was used in this novel जो 20th century में technique develop हुई है which was used mainly by the Virginia Woolf and James, the 20th century author. So it was in 18th century Laurence Stern wrote such kind of novel, which was in a style of the stream of consciousness. Varsha Sharma, good evening. It is a very important book of Stern. Tristram Shandy was written between 1759 and 1767. It is also important for the UGC NET exam. It is an autobiography written in 9 volumes. Total 9 volumes में लिखी गई थी. First 4 publish होती है. Later 5 volumes got published. Its full title is the life and opinions of Tristram Shandy, gentleman. So not only the publication, the volumes, but the title is also very important for the exam perspective. Henry Fielding. After Daniel Defoe, Samuel Richardson, and Laurence Stern, it was Henry Fielding who wrote the very important picaresque novel, and also he was famous author of his time and also later time. He also called many times the father of English novel. Later there are other writers also who got the same category, but it was Fielding who first time called the father of English novels. Dhruvi Shishodia, good evening. He is the most famous author of 18th century. His most famous novel, The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling. This is the complete title, The History of Tom Jones, a Foundling. इसका subtitle basically many times in examination the question was asked that a foundling किस novel से belong करता है, that is Tom Jones, which was published in 1749. It is divided into 18 books. It is a very huge novel which has 18 parts. It is a picaresque novel. Again, I want to tell you that what is the meaning of picaresque. The meaning of picaresque, when the hero of the novel is motiveless without any kind of fixed target. He is wandering here and there without any definite goal, and basically he is also a person who maybe not have द डेफिनेट पेरेंट्स. शुरू में नहीं पता होता उसका पेरेंट्स कौन होते हैं, ऐसी उसकी लाइफ स्टोरी रहती है. हेनरी फील्डिंग डिफाइन नोवेल हीरोइकल हिस्टोरिकल प्रोसेक पोएम. एक ऐसी पोएम उन्होंने फील्डिंग डिफाइन किया जो हीरोइक हो, जिसमें हीरो का डिस्क्रिप्शन हो, जो हिस्टोरिकल चीज़ों को रिप्रेजेंट करते हो और जो पोएम की तरह हो, पढ़ा जाने वाला, इंटरेस्टिंग भी हो. दैट इज द नोवेल बाय हेनरी फील्डिंग. जोसेफ एंड्रयू, ये नेक्स्ट नोवेल है हेनरी फील्डिंग का, और द हिस्ट्री ऑफ एडवेंचर ऑफ जोसेफ एंड्रयूज, दैट इज ऑल्सो इन एम इंग्लिश सिलेबस, and of his friend Mr. Abraham Adam. This is the full title of Joseph Andrew. It was a response to Richardson's novel Pamela. It was written when Richardson wrote Pamela, a pure woman. Later, Henry Fielding wrote Joseph Andrew, just in response of Richardson's. Joseph Andrew is a picaresque novel. This is also like the Tom Jones, a picaresque novel written in Imitation of Manner of Cervantes, author of Don Quixote. The Cervantes was author, great author, who wrote, he is a Spanish author and he wrote Don Quixote. This was also a Picaresque novel, and Henry Fielding imitated the Don Quixote when he wrote Joseph Andrew. Tobias Smollett, his first novel, Roderick Random, The Adventure of Peregrine Pickle, he is not so much important, but his novel, The Adventure of Peregrine Pickle, is important, 1751. In 1788, Smollett translated Don Quixote, that was written by Cervantes. And also, I want to tell you one thing in this lecture, that in this period, the authors wrote many novels which was written basically in later form, and later they completed into a novel form. So guys, this was a, the second part of the lecture, Neoclassical or the Augustanism, in which basically I have covered the rising of the novel or the major novelist of 18th century. Thank you for all of you to be live in the class. Thank you.